Welcome back. Police in the northern region has mounted search for armed men who attacked travelers at Bimbilla, killing one of them instantly. It is the second of such incident at the same time, at the same spot within 2 months, raising concerns a sophisticated syndicate is operating in the region. But analysis of this and other incidents of highway robberies which have occurred in parts of the country in recent times, plus the spate of kidnappings which have become a source of worry for many. Already there are travel alerts issued by the Canadians, Britons and Australians which cites the growing insecurity in the country. Is this the case? More on that shortly. Right now though, there's Northern Regional Police PRO DSP Yusuf Tanko speaking to Benis Abubedu Lansa about this morning's robbery at Bimbilla.
Around 1:40 p.m. The Yendi police received information to the effect that there was robbery going on the Yendi-Bimbilla road. So policemen and militiamen were dispatched to the area. When they went, they met the victims, but the armed robbers had fled. And according to them, the robbers used a pole, electricity pole that was abandoned to block the road, and then robbed a Kia vehicle with passengers with money and also mobile phones. So a second vehicle then moved in. So when it turns that it was a robbery scene, it decided to escape the scene. And unfortunately, it walked on one of the victims who had been made to lie on the road, and he died. So police in the region are trying very hard to identify and also arrest these criminals. Searches have been intensified around the Bimbilla and also the Yendi. Between Yendi and Bimbilla, the communities between them. Searches are ongoing, and we have also appealed to communities to be on the lookout for strangers or people who are not known in the area who have been found, so that they can assist in investigation. So we are doing everything possible to ensure that the robbers are hunted down, and also ensure that we beef up men on patrols on that particular stretch and also other routes within the region.
JSP, we understand that these men were armed. Can you confirm that?
Yes, according to the eyewitnesses, they were armed with weapons.
And what kind of weapons are you able to tell us?
Yeah, they were not able to describe the weapons very well, but we are suspecting that they may be pump-action guns and also single-barrel guns.
Now, we've also been told that vehicles plying routes to the northern part of the country, and you've confirmed that, are usually accompanied by police because of the threat of highway robberies. Was there any police escort on this particular Kia bus?
No, there wasn't a police escort on it, but yes, we do escort a lot of the buses, and you agree with me that with the number of buses that ply the road, it is impossible to escort all of them. So what we do is we do mount barriers and stop the vehicles and then escort them. But there are some of the drivers, they don't agree. But this particular one, we didn't encounter it anywhere. We only heard of the robbery, went and found them, so they were not part of the vehicles that we stopped and escorted.
All right, JSP, I'll come back to you shortly. We've been joined by MC for Bimbilla, Abdullah Yakub. Thank you, sir, for joining the show. Describe this area where the robbery occurred to us.
Thank you very much. It occurred between a village called Ganguile. It's in between Bimbilla and Puchuga. Actually, it was this morning around 12:30 thereabouts. I had a call, a distress call, that armed robbers had blocked some vehicles and were beating and terrorizing them. We moved there. I moved there with the military and the police. Before we got there, they had bolted. And according to eyewitnesses, they said they were about 5. And they were speaking French and Kukumba and then Nanuli. and they were armed with an AK-47 rifle and some knives, cutlasses. In the process, one person lost his life.
Yes, we've heard that. I just want you to try and describe the area to us. Is it in a forest area, other communities around where this occurred?
Yeah, it's not in a forest area. It's just about 3 to 4 kilometers away from Bimbila town. And we have about 3 villages around that area. We have Pabi, we have Ganguyile and Pushuga and Silbaga. So, in fact, we are also surprised that they have been so emboldened to rob vehicles at that particular point, because there are villages just around that particular enclave.
So the state of security is being questioned in the country at the moment. James Agauga is a minority spokesperson on Defense and Interior Committee. He joins me on the line. Mr. Agauga, thank you for your time this afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon.
Well, this is not the first time that you, the minority, has described this, what's happening in the country, as a trend. In fact, you said that there's a state of insecurity. The Member of Parliament, Okujeto Ablakwa, had raised this on the floor of Parliament. For you on the committee in Parliament, what's been your reading of the event so far?
Yeah, I think happening in recent times and in the past have largely vindicated the position of the minority that there's a state of insecurity in this country. You recall that the minority found it very compelling to hold a press conference, and we addressed the media about the state of affairs in this country with regards to security. And at that time, many people argued that the minority had unnecessarily politicized security in this country by crying wolf, when in actual fact there was no wolf.
And now you don't think they're justified in that position?
But today, I think everybody has now seen the wolf, the state of insecurity, the kidnappings that we are witnessing, which has taken, assumed some alarming proportion. The state of armed robberies in this country. Look, virtually on a daily basis, people now lose their lives as a result of highway armed robberies, residential armed robberies. I mean, it's very serious. The other day, somebody went to a Forex Bureau operator, actually was on his way to Dawenya to transact business. The person was accosted on the Dawenya highway and shot dead in broad daylight. Today we are being told that along the Bimbila Kusiga road, somebody was shot dead, armed robbers broke the road. I mean, these are daily occurrences. If you add this to the kidnappings that is going on, the Canadians who have been kidnapped, the 3 Takoradi girls who have also gone missing, I mean, you'd understand that the minority position has largely been vindicated. Look,
your line is not very smooth. I'll have you reposition for me. But whilst you do that, I'd like for you to ponder over this question, whether or not you believe that in setting up that press conference where you laid out what you believe was a state of insecurity in the country, did you provide any solutions, any concrete solutions as an alternative? For which reason, you know, you could say you're helping solve the problem. But just ponder on that for me. Let me just introduce on the line another person who's joining us in this conversation, the security analyst, Peter Tobo, who is a retired superintendent of police, our security analyst. Mr. Tobo, thank you for your time this afternoon.
Thank you, Gipsy.
So you've heard the argument that's been made by the minority spokesperson on defense in Parliament, Mr. Agauga, in which he says that, I mean, months back, the minority held a press conference to talk about the fact that there is a state of insecurity in the country. Is this something you are, from your perspective, from your, let me say, neutral perspective, and I use that advisedly because people have said when the minority came out that they were doing politics. They were doing politics with it. but obviously you are not. What do you see from where you stand in terms of the state of security in the country at the moment?
Thank you very much, Gifty. I want to say hello to my good friend, Honorable Ardalga, and then I want to say hello to your listeners as well. I would have wished that the press conference that was held was a press conference by Parliament and not by the minority. Security issues, there are no political colors in it. As a police officer retired, I can tell you as a matter of fact that the single question every citizen needs to answer for us to assess whether we are in a state of insecurity or not is whether crime, the fear of crime is rising or falling. And today, it is very clear that if you ask many Ghanaians, they will tell you the fear of crime is on the rise. And that is why even our development partners like the UK, Canada, and Australia are issuing alerts to their citizens to be careful. And all these things are signs to tell us that there is something wrong. But for me, as a security expert, there are three controls that are required in a country like this: prevention, detection, and response. But everything we have done in the past and even of present is putting in place measures to ensure that we are capable of responding to security situations. And when we are overwhelmed, we cannot even respond. Look at the police population ratio of this country. 1:800. It doesn't matter how effective and efficient the police can be, we cannot stand it. Even if we are 50,000, what we require is a preventive strategy to ensure that every Ghanaian is security conscious. We cannot be everywhere all the time. Robbery in my village, I cannot be there. Before they call the police, the robbers are gone. And they understand the vulnerability of the state. We should get serious. The president promised 800 million some time ago. That was fantastic. But I am telling you, if we have spent that money much in developing the preventive capabilities of the police service, I tell you, by now the story would have been different. It is not all about cars. It is not about logistics. It's all about the capacity of the man, the motivation of the man, the ability of the policeman to turn things around. Sometimes I get a bit incensed because as a police officer, one life lost is one too many.
Right. Let me just bring back Mr. Agaga on the line. I believe we have a better position, a smoother line with him now. Mr. Agaga, you've heard the concerns that he's raised. Actually, he thought that politicizing this issue, it's really not the way to go. But I asked you earlier whether or not you have solutions, you have ideas as far as how we can solve the problem, rather than amplifying,
Look,
if you like, the problem.
We didn't just sound the alarm bell at that press conference. We proffered solutions. And with the expectation that this government would have a listening ear. Unfortunately, it doesn't appear to us that this government is taking issues of security very seriously. Look, we clearly identified one of the causes of the security lapses in this country. The overbloated, if you like, and overcrowded security appointments, and if you like, institutions that we have witnessed and have had to contend with under this government. So collaboration in itself is a problem. Look, in one ministry, we have a minister responsible for national security. In that same ministry, we have a minister of state responsible for national security. Then you have the interior minister. You have the deputy interior minister. And the list goes on and on and on and on. So when you are talking about headship at the level of the National Security Ministry, you want to ask yourself who is in charge. And these things played out when we had challenges with the Ayawasu West Wagon by-election. So collaboration is very key in the management of security in our country. I don't think the security agencies are collaborating well enough. Okay. And the problem starts from the very top.
Okay.
But you see, I will not blame the mistakes or, if you like, challenges we have on the operatives. I blame the problem squarely. I place the problem squarely on the doorstep of the political leadership. What type of leadership are we seeing today with respect to our security management? Remember that we don't want to politicize security.
But the moment you organize a press conference and when you keep addressing and when you keep saying it is under this administration, under the Akufo-Addo administration, don't you think that's politicization in the first place?
you see, in 2016, the NPP did the unthinkable by politicizing security. They gave the impression, they created the impression in their manifesto statement that security under President Mahama was not doing well in this country. And
we're hearing two sounds
President
now at the
moment should be elected so that he would come and better manage our security.
Okay.
And so from the onset, we would compare and contrast the situation as it was under President Mahama and the prevailing security situation that we are witnessing in our country today.
Let me focus this part of the conversation, Mr. Ogaga, on the terror threats that we are receiving in this country. The terror threats, I mean, a lot of people said was inevitable. Looking at what was happening in the sub-region, what was happening on the world stage, that people that we knew it was coming, except we didn't know when. Now we're seeing it get closer home, starting from Burkina Faso and from the northern part of the country. Would you still blame this on a specific administration?
Yes, I'll give you an example and justify why they should be blamed. Today, you want to ask yourself, are we prepared sufficiently well to deal with the threat? You would remember that in this country, during our tenure, when we were in office, we sought to pass a legislation. It was a legislation on the interception of telecommunication postal packets, right? That deal was labeled as the spy deal, if you remember. Hard as we tried to explain that the reasons why we wanted that legislation passed was because of the threat of terrorism. And that terrorism was just approaching our frontiers. Nana, at that time, opposition leader and candidate of Kupadu, held a press conference and said the deal was the spy deal. And that was the beginning of the end for that deal. So you see, today we are faced with the threat. The threat is actually around.
Well, at the moment, nothing has happened for you to say that we're not well prepared.
Well enough.
Men have been arrested in the northern region.
Intelligence. Have we resourced our security agencies well enough to gather intelligence to counter terrorism? That is a fundamental question.
Okay, hang on for me, Mr. Ogaga. Let me bring in Mr. Toby. Mr. Toby, you heard the concerns that Mr. Ogaga raises about our preparedness, for example, when it comes to the terror threats that we're faced with. I'd like to find out your thoughts on this. And whilst you're at it, if you could help us deal with the danger of politicizing this discussion.
Thank you very much, Gipsy. I want to thank Honorable Ogaga. I think he has very valid points. You see, this country must learn to define what we call national interest. Gipsy, let me tell you something. A few years back, when our energy sector had crisis, this was cumulative over a period of time and finally collapsed during President John Dramani Mahama's time. He paid the price for it because he was deemed to be incompetent. He was not fixing the energy crisis. But you know, Kwame Nkrumah bought some cables and said these cables were going to last for 50 years. They were expired. They expired at his time and he had to be blamed. In the same vein, you see what is happening? Serious security issues. And everybody's saying, you know, everything rises and falls on leadership. For that matter, President Nana Akufo-Addo must be held responsible. Why are they saying so? Because you are in charge. But the fact that this has been an accumulation over a period of time, and these threats are not new. They are getting closer, and terrorists spring on surprise. Today, as we speak, in the next 5 minutes, if something happens, everybody will say, oh, no, this cannot happen in Ghana. Oh, Ghana is a God-loving country. Oh, the blood of Jesus. Oh, please, let's stop this. Let's stop this and equip our security agencies, motivate them and get them well-trained to be prepared to be preventive in character. Responding to security issues is always at the last minute and sometimes very expensive.
Superintendent Tobo, you have been in the system, you have been in the police system, and even though you have retired voluntarily, you are still very much in touch with what happens in the system, in the police system, the hierarchy. You understand the processes. What would you say? What would you say are the clear lapses that we need to deal with if we're going to be serious, if we're going to be seen as serious about this security concerns that we have now?
The Inspector General of Police and the Police Management Board analyzed the security situation of this country 1 year ago, and they foresaw some of these threats. So it led to the creation of a directorate that we call the Police Intelligence Directorate, that Ghana Police Service must run on pure intelligence. Ask me today, how resourceful is that directorate? We need to get serious. How resourceful that directorate, and what is the capacity of that directorate so that what is likely to happen tomorrow can be detected?
Well, you tell us how resourced is this entity? Is it something that can help solve the problem, do you think? From what
it's better not to talk about it.
Why not?
I'm saying that we should get serious as a country, and if we think that without security we cannot have development, let's have better budget for police service, better budget for internal security, and I'm sure that we all have peace of mind that we need, and the fear of crime will continue to reduce and reduce and reduce.
Better budget, you say. I asked you to take us through what your thought about when it comes to politicization of security. It looks like a lot of people have said that the moment we politicize any issue, it goes to the drains. What do you make of the situation when it comes to the security situation and the way we're discussing it? Politicization thrown into that bit.
Well, politicization of issues in Ghana, I can't see an end to it because I really do not know what our national interest is. Because if the national interest is clearly defined in the area of security, no political party wants to do anything against the national interest. But we have defined political party interest, and all the time we are defending our political party position. And Ghana does not have a single position to be defended. And that is our challenge. For me, I get sad when people begin to think that security issues are being politicized. The minority are concerned and they are right to be concerned. Government is a bit concerned because minorities seem to be raising the bar. And sometimes it can give them a negative image. But the reality is that when somebody dies, people will get worried. Somebody is kidnapped, people will get worried. So whether they talk about it or not, the world is hearing that Ghana is becoming insecure. And we need to sit up and be collective in our thinking and approach and look at this issue as a national problem.
Looking at this as a national problem, would you describe the state in which we are now as a state of insecurity?
Every Ghanaian have lived under insecurity for a very long time because our very nature. We really do not care. Our personal security is not of any interest to us. I was in Israel and the national security minister told me, just drop a bag outside and stand and watch. Within 10 minutes, the police are going to respond. A citizen is going to inform the police that there is an abandoned bag somewhere. In Ghana, somebody can leave a bag even in your bedroom and you will not bother for 1 week. So personally, we are insecure. But at every point in time, when the level increases, we should be able to be concerned about it. And I think that it is good that we are expressing concern.
So you believe the level has increased as it stands now?
What I'm saying is that every Ghanaian understands that the levels of security now are not the best, and we are all expressing concern.
Mr. Agwaga, I'm coming to you. I'll be wrapping up this conversation with you soon. What is at the moment, we're still dealing with this issue about kidnapping. The Australians today also updated their alert systems, warning their citizens who intend to come into the country or who are already in the country to be careful. Already it's giving us a very bad international publicity. It's giving us very bad publicity internationally. What do you think we can do from here?
Look, it is important that we come out from our state of self-denial and admit that the security situation in Ghana is not right. I mean, the security situation now is bad. If we admit that there is a problem with security, I think we can begin to fashion strategies to deal with the challenge. But government posturing so far has been very terrible. So, government communicators, I've heard them attempt to blame what is happening now on the NDC chairman, that the NDC chairman was caught on the tape and that the tape, in that tape, he made certain comments and that he should be blamed for what is happening now. What a denier. How irresponsible can we be to attribute what is happening to a political leader in our country? So the state of denial is part of the problem. If government does not come out of the state of denial and begin to deal with the matter in a holistic manner, we'll continue to have challenges. Look, when the foreign mission in this country, starting with the Canadian mission, the British mission, gave a travel update to their countrymen. Some politicians in this country, people in government, leading members of the NPP, rather than help the government to fashion a strategy to deal with the challenge, decided to attack the British. They said the British were hypocritical. And look, if you are not security conscious, they are. They will send out alerts to their citizens. Why would we not, as a people, admit that there is a challenge and begin to work together, get the security agencies to collaborate and enhance our intelligence gathering methods and systems, resource the security agencies adequately? You heard the retired superintendent ask the question whether or not the intelligence unit that was recently set up is well resourced to act. Why are we not, as a people, discussing these matters in an apolitical manner? And so when the British complain, when the Australians complain, and when the Canadians complain, we say, no, they shouldn't complain. It's all because we are living in a state of denial. Government officials are denying the fact that there is insecurity in this country, and yet Ghanaians can feel it. We would continue to talk. We would continue to raise the alarm bells until government does what is right, so that when you and I go to sleep, we can sleep soundly.
And Mr. Tobu, hold on for me. There's a breaking news I'd like to take your thoughts on. Just hold on briefly.